Welcome to Keep It 100, the Coach Jones Show. This morning, our special guest is Darius Hampton. How you doing this morning, Coach Jones?
I'm doing great, man. It's a great feeling to be district champions.
Yes, sir.
It's a great senior class, and you know they built their legacy. We got Darius Hampton right here, the Sack King.
Sack King.
The thing I love about him, he's been confident since his freshman year, and he spoke this stuff into existence. And I love when you see kids talk about it, and then they go be about it. So he's been about it his whole career. He has, 11 and a half sacks this year?
14 and a half.
14 and a half.
Coach, get it right.
I left him off 3, so he has 14 and a half sacks. College coaches, you need to know who his name is. He's a great athlete. He runs the hurdles for us. He's a great leader. He's one of our captains. So I'm excited to have him here to give him that exposure that he deserves.
Well, Mr. Hampton, you know, I've got a chance to talk to you a couple of times. Got a chance to meet your father this weekend. I tell you, man, you tell where you get your great attitude, man, talking to him. We probably talked about 10 to 15 minutes, and you act like me and him known each other forever. But you can tell he's done a great job of raising you. But, you know, Coach, you know, we talked about, you know, where you're playing. You play defensive end. And the funny thing is you got a kid, you know, right around the corner from, you know, you that's getting all this hype, you know, as a defensive end. And I tell you, looking at you, and I told you just a couple weeks ago, and I looked at you, you're one of those guys that's unique because you're playing defensive end, but I think you can go play outside linebacker. I think you can go play strong safety.
Yes,
I think you can also even go play free safety. You know, they got a kid down at OU that's just committed. It's from down the street, and you're bigger than, you know. And like I said, you run the hurdles, so you're a great two-sport athlete. You gave up basketball to concentrate on football, and right now you're sitting about 190, you know, 195, right?
Yes,
and so I mean, I know you were saying you like to get up to about 215. But, you know, looking at you, whatever college get you, they're going to get a steal because, I mean, your frame on your body is like you can put some meat on it. So for the people that don't know who you are, tell them who Mr. Hampton is.
Well, I just come in, work hard every day. You know, I do what my coaches ask and trying to get the job done.
Yeah.
Sir.
So, you know, looking at schools right now, do you have any school that you know, that's kind of offered you that you're looking at?
I got offers from UCO, ECU, Culver Stockton, and Northwestern Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else kind of knocking on the door, kind of waiting for the season's over?
Central Missouri, Langston, and that's all I know of right now.
Well, I tell you, know, what you guys have done this year in football, you know, last year kind of hurt last year. You know, I remember one of my good buddies told me at one time, you only guaranteed in high school 30 games.
Yes, sir.
Anything after 30 games is a bonus.
Absolutely.
And so last year you guys were kind of cut short. You didn't get to play in some of the games. And so what you guys started off this year, losing your first game, now you've been on a, 8-9 game win streak?
8-game winning streak. Yes,
And
sir.
so now coaches are getting out, you know, and
Absolutely.
seeing who you guys are. So you are kind of bit by the snake because you didn't get to play all your games last year. So people not getting to see you, but what'd you say, 14 and a half sacks?
Yeah, 14 and a half
what?
sacks.
How many games you played so far? Eight games?
9 games.
9 games.
Yes, sir.
And that, I mean, you're going against great competition week in and week out,
Yes.
you know. I know the week before the Deer Creek, I think it was a PC North game, you had, 5 sacks that game?
Yes, sir.
And I know in the Deer Creek game, you had 1. You know, I know there's a couple of times they had some holding on you, but you didn't complain. You still played through it. So it tells you what kind of player you are. But college coach, if you're looking at this young man, look at him, man. I mean, the guy's 6'2", you know, 195, and he can do some amazing things. If he can jump hurdles, that tells you a guy can get up and jump.
Absolutely.
But, you know, Coach, tell us a little about Mr. Hampton, because like I said, it seems like you got a good steal right here with this young man.
Yeah, you know, I've always knew Darius was going to be successful. You know, he always had confidence, and that's the first thing you got to have in kids. They got to be confident, and then he was a great leader. You know, even as a young kid, he would be vocal, and it would aggravate seniors, and, you know, they would be like, hey, who's this young man coming in our program trying to be vocal and trying to lead? But that's the kind of personality he has, you know, and he's shown what he could do this year. You know, if you look at the big games that we played in, Booker T, Carl Albert, Bishop McGinnis, he made that play in overtime versus Bishop McGinnis on 4th down to get us to help get us the win. Then you look at the PC North game. They had an Oklahoma State commit. That kid's a great player. If you compare the film,
Yep, sir.
I don't think you can see a whole bunch of difference, you know, and you know, Darius he's continuing to grow as well. You know, he's actually 6'3". I think he can put on anywhere from 20 to 25 pounds. And he can run, you know, he can run, he's agile, and one of his best attributes is his work ethic, the way he works on a daily basis and the way he works on his craft. So I think colleges need to take notice, and I think this is just a start from him. Like I told the kids yesterday, we got 4 more games left.
Yes, sir.
That's our goal. We got 4 more games, and I think sky's the limit what he's going to do in these 4 games. He has 14 and a half sacks. He's going for the school record.
What is the school record?
It's 19. It's 19. Anthony Goodlow, who's playing at Tulsa
Tulsa,
right now,
yes,
got
sir.
19 sacks. I think he's going to get that. With the way he's playing, the way people try to put the focus on Stone and Foreman, I think he's going to get that record, you know, because you could put all the focus on Stone and Foreman, and he's like that little kept secret.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's that kept secret, and then you get to the game like, wow, who is this guy? But I don't think he's a kept secret as much as he was at the beginning of the season. Teams are starting to scheme for him. And also, if you put on the film against him versus Sexton, he did a great job versus a big-time commit, a 4-star athlete who had offers from Alabama, and everybody in the country was committed to Oklahoma. So anytime a kid plays against great talent like that and shows what he can do, you got to get his name out there. You got to show college coaches what they can get and what kind of skill they can have. But we're very thankful for the teams that have offered him. UCO, East Central, all those schools he named are great institutions, great universities. Anytime you get a university that wants to pay for your education, I don't care what it is, you take advantage of it. So I'm glad that no matter what, Darius is going to have that opportunity to go on and play college football and get his education.
Well, that's good stuff, Coach. I'll tell you right now. I mean, looking at the young man, you know, you talked about Anthony Goodlow playing up in Tulsa. You know, the funny thing is when Anthony first came to Dell City, they played him at free safety.
Yeah.
You know, so you look at that young man, he went from free safety down to D-line.
He's winning 200. He weighs 275, 280 pounds. When he was here, he weighed 230.
So that just tells you
it
what
shows you the weight you could put on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Darius, what's some of the hobbies you like to do, you know, on your spare time when you're not sacking QBs?
I usually go to work after practice, and I don't have much free time. But if I do, I watch film on our next opponent, or go home, play the game, get some rest.
So if you had to monitor your game, you know, since you're a sack king, who would you kind of say you favor?
Von Miller.
Von Miller. You know, you see he just got traded. You saw that, right?
Yeah, to the Rams.
I got a great comparison to him. He probably, I don't know if he knows him, Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory.
He's from Nebraska. When he came out of Nebraska, he was like 215. Everybody's like, he's too small.
Yeah.
This and that. He put on 20 pounds, and now people in the NFL can't handle him. His speed is just too much. No matter how good an offensive lineman is, his speed is going to give them problems, and Darius is very similar to that.
Well, you know, you're looking at, like you said, Coach, you got 4 games left. You know, like I said, you got Lawton this week, then you switch off and you start in the playoffs. Yeah. And that's when all these college coaches, I mean, they're out now looking. So I tell you, it's so hard right now with everything going on because I think last year, like I said, you guys were big not having a season. Yeah. You did, but you didn't. You know, you're missing those big games, you know, having to play some big games. But I tell you, Darius, you know, before we get off here, what's your favorite food? If you had to pick a meal, what would you pick?
I go with chicken.
Chicken and what? Chicken. Yeah, I mean, mashed potatoes, but
red beans and rice.
There you go. Every now we talking.
Yes,
now
sir.
We're talking.
Red beans and rice.
But Darius, you know, for the guys that's gonna watch the show here this come Thursday morning before you guys kick off against Lawton, you know, going into the playoffs, what would you tell your team? You know, what we got to do to take care of business this Thursday night and moving forward into the playoffs.
Well, this Thursday we just gotta stay focused and just keep grinding the way we do, and then we're gonna take it up a step for the playoffs and just become that team to go win it all.
But there's only good advice I can tell you, man. You know, play these last 4 or 5 games like it's your last because, you know, like I said, you never know when's the last time you're going to play ball. So I always try to tell all young men, hey, have fun, man. Just have fun. Like I said, it seems like you don't have a chip on your shoulder. I mean, the day I met you in the locker room, you came and talked to me like we knew each other. And that's what it's all about, though. Like I said, enjoy the rest of the season, man. And I want you to get that record because Coach might have something special for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
But Darius, thank you for joining another great show of Keeping It 100, Coach Jones Show. We'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Well, welcome back to Keep It 100, the Coach Jones Show. We just had Sack King himself, Mr. Darius Hampton.
Yes, sir.
Guy had 14 sacks trying to break the school record.
Yes, sir.
Coach, that's amazing.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
it really is. So Coach, you pulled it off. You know, I start talking about that. I pat myself on the back a little bit. I started talking about you guys being district championship, got a chance to go play for the gold ball. You know, I know you coaches don't like to talk about that, but you know, to look what you have done, lose your first game, and now you're on a 8-game winning streak.
Yes, sir.
And the win district, now you can say you're district champion.
Yes, sir.
The last time you've been district champions was 2012?
Well, 2012 in 5A, and since 6A, it's been 1999.
1999. That's when Prince was still playing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Well, Coach Jones, congratulations, you know, on the win, you know, Thursday night against U.S. Grant. You know, it's kind of a short week again. You turn around, you play Lawton, and you're sitting at, 8-1, 6-0 in district. I just tell you, man, I mean, you got to be tickled. I mean, losing your first game, then you go on this trend of winning 8 games in a row. I just want to go back. Let's back this up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
What was it like after you lost that Booker T game? Because I know you're a competitive guy. You played at the Division I level, at one of the highest levels you can play at a great school, Oklahoma State. So what was it like going home, losing that first game?
Well, to start off with the game, it just felt real weird. It felt like I was floating. You know, I've been a defensive coordinator for 4 years here. I was an assistant coach in Texas and at Carl Albert previously. I never been in a position where I wasn't calling the game or I wasn't coaching a specific position. So it was real weird, and I had to find my way. You know, I think that first game I was real timid. I wasn't coaching with the same personality and the same style I had my whole career. And I made those adjustments. Once I kind of got the feel for it, got the feel for our team and what we needed to do, we had to clean up a lot of things. We had a lot of penalties. You know, we had some turnovers. I think I coached scared a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. I coached a little scared. I didn't let Virgil throw the ball. Even though we had 375 yards rushing, I think we might have only thrown the ball 3 times, and that's unacceptable. And that's me playing with some fear. So I went home and I thought about it, and I knew we needed to make the corrections. And with it being the preseason, I knew that was the time to do it. And it was a perfect opportunity coming up, Carl Albert next. I love big games. That's what I operate in. I operate in big games, big moments, and I knew we had the opportunity to ride the ship and be able to make some changes and be able to show what we can do versus a great program like Carl Albert. So we changed some things in the weight room a little bit, and we changed some stuff with our conditioning. I think the changes we made with our conditioning, I really honestly believe that got us rolling.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
you could tell in the latter part of the third and fourth quarter, anybody that has paid attention to us all year, you could tell we just turning up to a different notch. And teams start to get tired, and we just start to get that refreshing kind of attitude, refreshing type mentality, and it shows in those third and fourth quarters. And then to be able to win in overtime versus Bishop McGuinness, you know, to be able to win that game in overtime against that type of program with the momentum that they had going, it shows what kind of program we have. I've been told that in the past that Dale City were front runners and that they would have had, if they would have lost the league like that versus Bishop McGuinness, in the past they would have folded. So to be able to hear those comments from some of my peers and to be able to show them that that's not who we are no more. We're not going to fold. We're not going to get into that type of mentality in the latter part of games. And then to be able to win the big games that we won. I can't stress enough how important it was to go on the road versus Stillwater team, who you can arguably say the last 3 to 4 years outside of Bixby, they're the best program in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
To be able to go there and beat them for the first time at their home stadium with that crowd, that nice facility, with the Gundys there, Kel and Mike, to be able to go there and beat them for the first time since 2016, that's the first time they lost, that was a testament. That really gave us the confidence like, hey, this is the real deal. This is the real deal. And then to be able to come and beat Midway City handily, and I say that respectfully, but to be able to come beat them, and then to be able to continue to do it when the bullseye is on your back.
Yes, sir.
Once we beat Stillwater, everybody was like, hey, this is the team to beat.
Teams for real.
This is the team that's at top of the district. So we had some tough games with PC North and Deer Creek, and to be able to come back against Deer Creek, it just shows that we can win any type of game. We can win a game that's close and that the whole game, a game that's close to the whole game, and then we can win a game where we have the lead and be able to control the clock and do what we need to do. So I'm excited about going into this week. I told our kids that this is a playoff game for us.
Yes, sir.
This Lawton game is a playoff game for us. It's not next week. Playoffs start this week for us. We need to be clicking on all cylinders. We need to be clicking on offense, defense, special teams, and we need to be clicking on our character in the classroom and making good grades and treating people correctly and treating people like you want to be treated. That's real big to me, and I tell our kids that all the time. Lawton has a lot to play for this week.
Yes, sir.
If they win, they put themselves in position to make the playoffs. Anytime somebody's in that kind of situation, like they're backed up into the corner, we saw it earlier this year with PC North, they're going to give us everything they can handle. And I want that type of game going into the playoffs, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see our boys go take that opportunity and see what they can do with it.
Well, Coach, like you said some great things, like to lose that first game. You've been right now on the train that's just been rolling and rocking and going. And, you know, with the players, I mean, with the confidence they're getting, you know, Virgil throwing the ball, running the ball. I mean, just, you know, with Jay Smith, you know, there's a young man on here that, you know, looking at the stats, when we get into stats, man, just a freshman had a good game. You know, so you guys are not falling off.
Yeah.
And then last night, you guys go out and, you go out and you play a team, you know, on the other side of 15th Street.
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, and beat up on them a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a team that you might be here in the second round.
Yes,
I mean, it's, you know, what's that kind of like? Because, you know, there's a chance, you know, you'll have Sand Springs.
Yes, sir.
You know, Choctaw and then and Deer Creek will hook up.
Yeah.
There's a chance you could play a team that's right here in your backyard.
Yeah.
But you just kind of played their JV team.
Yes.
Monday night. So
Yes, sir.
what was that like? Scheming because you don't want to show them too much.
Yes, sir.
And they probably don't want to show you too much because
Yes, sir.
I mean, you guys are gonna hook up here. Granted, if they beat Deer Creek,
Yeah.
Deer Creek's gonna be a tough game.
Yes, sir.
But, I mean, what's that kind of like?
Well, starting off with sub-varsity, we had combined teams, ninth and JV for majority of the year just because our numbers, and I hope to get that up
Yes,
as
sir.
we progress in the future where we can go freshman games and JV games, but you just got to do what you got to do. So we've been going combined most of the year, and I remember, and I've seen this my whole career, how important JV and freshman games are psychologically. When you start beating teams on JV and freshmen, when they get to varsity, they already played those guys
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 years, so their confidence level is there against those teams. It started with Midwest City. We were when we first got here, we were on a 9-game losing streak to Midwest City. Then we started beating them on freshmen. We started beating them in the middle school. We started beating them on JV, and then we finally broke the seal and we beat them for the first time at their place, and we broke the 9-game losing streak.
Yes, sir.
And then this year we were able to beat them. But Jason Smith, Darius Hampton, all those seniors have beaten Midwest City 3 years in a row on JV. So they were used to that. So we wanted to start that trend this year with Choctaw. Choctaw is a great program. Coach Corbin has done a great job with those guys. Their freshman team and their JV teams have been doing great this year, so we knew them coming over. It was going to be a tough battle, especially last week. We got our butts handed to us. Deer Creek came over here, and they beat us up pretty good. They're a great freshman team. It wasn't combined. It was a freshman team. They're also, I think I've seen on Twitter, they're playing against Westmore for the championship in their district for 9th grade. So they were a great program.
Yes.
So we knew that we wanted to end the season well, and they came over here. It was a great game. We started off, we had, for the first 3 possessions, I think our defense made them fumble 3 times. We threw the ball well. And the thing I like about combining them, you kind of get to see the future of your team because you're putting those
You're putting them
freshmen,
together.
you put your
Yeah.
freshmen and JV together, and it's teaching them that, hey, this ain't the trophy generation. You're going to have to compete for playing time for the rest of your career. So I think it kind of molded them and taught them that. And to end the year with a program like that, that's great because, those kids may be playing Choctaw one day.
Yeah.
But to be able to beat that sub-varsity team, does it help with varsity? I think a little bit, just because anytime you win a game against another opponent, it gives you confidence. It gives our older guys confidence, like, hey, we could do this as well. So I think it gives some confidence to us. But out of respect for Sand Springs, if that's who we match up with, I think that's more than likely that's who it's going to be.
Yes, sir.
But out of respect for them, I'm not overlooking them.
No.
They're a great team. You've been speaking about them all year. They were one of your dark horses. They have a great head coach, Bobby Klink, who played at OU, who played at Tulsa as well. And I remember him in high school. We were seniors at the same time. He was a great player. They're a great team. So we can't overlook them. That's going to be a great matchup. And I think playing against Lawton is going to prepare us for that game. But this is a playoff game to us. And we want to keep our win streak going with Lawton. We haven't won 8 games in a row.
Yes.
This could be our 9th win in a row. And I don't know the last time Dale City's done that. I don't know the last time. Anytime you get a 9-game winning streak and you get kids used to winning, when you get in those tight moments, that reward of winning comes up and tightens up and it helps you overcome some adversity like Deer Creek. We were so used to winning that we were like, we're not going to take a loss. We're not going to take a loss, and we're not going to put ourselves in that situation. And I feel great about it, But the playoffs are going to be great, and we're going to have a packed house here at the first round. But we need to go take care of business versus Lawton to be able to have that confidence and keep us rolling.
Well, like I said, man, it seems like everything's rolling and rocking and going. I tell you this, last Thursday night, you get up with a win like that, you get a chance to play a lot of your backups. And look at some of the stats, some of the guys ain't hurt all year,
Yes,
but he got a chance to get in the game. Like I said, Virgil kind of started off, he was 1 for 2 for 10 yards. He had probably the end of his night.
Yeah.
And then it seems like you got George Gooseby, that's your backup quarterback, right?
Yes, sir.
Sophomore quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Kid can sling the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Sling the ball a little bit. He was 5 for 6 for 69 yards.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it's a good night.
Yes.
Then you go down to the rushing attack. He's not your Virgil, but he's still he's still throwing the ball. You go down rushing. He had 4 carries, for 28 yards. Then you had Ethan. I mean, he finished his night pretty strong. Had 4 carries, 69 yards, 2 TDs.
Yeah, he also had a touchdown on a kickoff return and pro return.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then you got Jason Smith, got a chance to rest him, 2 carries, 39 yards.
Yeah.
From the week before, he had 20 some carries for 100, 140 yards. But it's good for those guys to get that rest in that type of game because getting them ready for playoffs. Like I said, a lot of these guys do go both ways, so they do need that rest. Then you have a junior, Joquan Howard.
Yeah, Jaquan Howard.
And I guess he had one, this is a good stat. One carry for 4 yards in the TD.
Yeah, he's also our starting outside linebacker.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
I mean, but like I said, it's good to get some of these other guys' names in here
Yeah.
that's going to tote the ball next year when you do lose a Ethan, when you lose a Smith,
Yes.
so you got some of these other guys. The kid that really stood out to me as a freshman, Demarion Turner.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be the real deal.
He had 7 carries, 112 yards, 2
He's going to be
TDs.
the real deal. He showed out last night, too. He's actually our third quarterback. So, he's going to be a great player. Has a great work ethic. He's actually going to give us some help in track as well, because I want to go out and capture a state championship in track, and he's going to be a big component of it. And he also plays basketball as well. He's a great player. As far as playing these younger players in these type of games, starting off with Virgil, we had an experience last year, and coaches will be lying to you if they say that they don't lean on those experiences, those negative experiences. We had our starting quarterback get hurt versus U.S. Grant last year,
Yes, sir.
going into the playoffs. So that was in the back of my mind. I don't want to coach scared, but I was thinking about that. And Virgil has a very physical style.
Yes.
And no matter how much I tell him, hey, you need to get out of bounds here, or
He's not
going to listen. He's going to play hard. He's going to play aggressive. And it's been a long year. One thing that I had to get used to in Oklahoma is we don't have a bye week unless you play 0 week. In
Yes,
Texas,
sir.
you got that bye week. So when you're playing for 10 weeks straight, your body gets beat up like that. Virgil has a physical style. He was beat up. I was going to let him go one quarter, but I said, man, I'm going to let him go one series because I wanted to see George Gooseby, our backup quarterback, in an element where things were still on the line. With Virgil's physical style, George could be playing at any time in the playoffs.
Yes.
And I don't want our whole season to go to waste. I would say go to waste, but I don't want it to end because our backup quarterback hadn't had no experience. And with the tough games we have had this year, our backup quarterback hadn't had a chance to get a lot of playing time. So I wanted to put him in a tough element where it was only 7-0, and he still had to go out there and complete passes and run the offense and do those things. And then you get those other guys who have Jaquan Howard is a great running back. In most programs in Oklahoma, he will be a starting running back, I promise you. And he's going to show that next year. But when you got a guy like Jason Smith and Ethan Lawrence, and we have always traditionally had great running backs all the way back to Benny Butler, Josh Scobie, you have to kind of wait your turn. And it's one of those type of things, but you are rewarded for waiting. Because think about Jason. Jason didn't carry the ball one time last year. Man. And you see how great he is. But we had 2 great running backs with Laquan Brown and Jacoby Smith, who Laquan Brown's at East Central right now, shows what kind of player, and Jacoby Smith's at Pitt State. So Jaquan had to wait his turn, and he did some great things. And then you have some other young offensive linemen and defensive linemen that got some great experience and got some great playing time. And it gives you an idea as a coach what you can start matching up and working on next year. This business is, you have to be thinking ahead, but you also have to be wise enough to not think too far ahead so you don't get lopsided on your thinking and you lose focus on what's ahead next week. But you still have to start planning for the future. So to be able to see those guys get in, still have a good victory, and also to be able to get those guys playing time in a game that had district championship purposes with it. So those guys got some playing time. The feeling was great. I'm thankful that they were able to get that. I'm thankful we were able to get that district title. So now we can kind of play with a relaxed attitude this week. But that relaxed attitude needs to be aggressive. It needs to be fierce, and we need to go out and make a statement this week against Lawton, whoever we play next week, that when you come over to Dale City, it's going to be a hard-hitting, fast, aggressive game that we're going to bring to you.
Well, like I say, in the receiving yards, you still have Jalen Sweet catching, 2 catches for 21 yards in the TD. Jaden Jones, 1 catch, 8 yards, and then my man Foreman getting into action,
Yeah.
And then I know it's 1 catch, 10 yards, but that 10 yards could be the difference of you moving the chains in a semifinals game, you moving the chains in the championship ball game.
Sir.
So you still got to worry about the young man, even though he's a tough cat on the defensive side of the ball, but he still shows you, hey, he can go catch the football too. So the defense, it's kind of sprinkled. It's not like every other week it has been, but be able to have 1 tackle, 2 sacks. K. Thomas 2 tackles, Jaden Smith 1 tackle. It ain't like but you could tell that these guys didn't get the game they used, the time of playing time they have been. You got him in, you got him pretty much rested. Foreman another good week, 5 tackles. Jay Howard, 6 tackles. B. Hampton did his thing again, 3 tackles, 3 sacks. I mean, I'm just telling you, this kid right here, folks, I'm just telling you, man, him sitting next to me. I say it all the time, people are like, man, but this kid, I'm telling you, he is one of those kids that whoever gets him, coach,
They're gonna get a
I'm
steal.
telling you, you're gonna get a steal because his frame of him, he's 6'3", 195.
You can see it in his
You can
shoulders.
see it. You can see
how
it.
he
I
can-
mean,
yeah, he's
and
gonna
you
put
talking
on
about
25 pounds.
he jumped hurdles. I mean, and I know, me and you talked about this, time in and out, in and out. That everything going on with the COVID and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Some of these kids are not getting a chance. But I'm
Yeah.
just telling you, whoever gets this young man, he named some good schools. And I know sometimes everybody wants that
Yeah.
Power 5. Sometimes it might come, sometimes it might not come. But I just tell you that whoever gets him though is gonna get a steal because
Absolutely.
a great young man, good at academics. You can tell his parents are involved on
Yes,
top
sir.
of him. So like I said, got a chance to talk to his dad.
Yeah.
Just well-spoken, father.
Absolutely.
And then even his son. I know he was kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Anytime you go on this show, people do get kind of quiet.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, we was going to this classroom right
Oh,
now.
man, he's so
talking.
talkative.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it is crazy, but it's good to see these guys do get on this show because a lot of times
That's
they don't get
experience,
that.
you
That's
know?
what I was telling him. We put an 11-year-old kid on the show last week.
Yes.
And he did a great job. And it's a phone interview, so it's a little bit easier because you're
Yeah.
not looking at the camera, you're not
Yeah.
sitting between two people. But he did a good job. And this thing about these young men, I always tell the boys, if you get a chance in college, take a speech class.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it helps you in the
Yes,
long
sir.
haul speaking. Because if you're going to play college ball, basketball, whatever sport, and you're going to be good at it,
Yes.
that camera's always going to be in your face.
Yes, sir.
And so, hey, it's one thing you don't want to do is give an opposing team something to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
that guy can't talk, and this and that and
Yeah.
that. So, I know, like I said, you finish up this Thursday night against Lawton.
Yes, sir.
Your first year coaching. I mean, how do you feel? You feel like
Well,
is it something that you think it was going to go this way, or did you kind of have it played out different in your head?
Well, starting off with the kids being on here and the exposure that they get. I was just talking to a friend this morning, and she told me that I love what you're doing with these kids because it gives them exposure on public speaking.
Yes, sir.
I remember when I was in college, at junior college, I was so terrified of public speaking. I had this speech class, and I had to pass the speech class to be able to go to Oklahoma State. I was so scared of public speaking, I almost dropped the class just because I didn't want to get up there and speak. And my junior college coach said, no, you're getting up there. And I'm glad I did it because I was able to go to Oklahoma State at December. But to be able to get these young men practice at getting in front of the camera, learning how to conduct yourself, good body language, looking at the camera, speaking, and being confident, that's going to pay off. And it's going to pay off in the playoffs. We got the Daily Oklahoma coming today to do an interview, and that's going to help Darius today because he spoke today. That's going to help him be more confident when he speaks to them. So I just want to get them experiences to help them not only in football but in life. They're going to have to go to interviews.
Yes, sir.
They're going to have to go to interviews and get in front of people and sell themselves and show that you're a good product, you have good work ethic, you have good character, and you speak and carry yourself well, especially as an African American, because I feel like sometimes our opportunities are limited and we don't have as much freedom to make mistakes. So for them to be able to get up here and get that exposure, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for your wife to provide us those opportunities. As far as my first year coaching, man, I would have never thought this, to be honest. I knew I would have never thought we would go on a win streak like this. I would have never thought some of the games we played in would be so close and we would pull them out. But me and Coach Williams talked over the summer and we were looking at our schedule and we said, man, it's 2 games that we know we're going to be tough and that we could have a chance to lose. And it was Stillwater and Booker T, because Booker T matches up with our athletes. Booker T matches up with our athletes, and Stillwater's who they've been in the past 4 or 5 years. I knew Carl Albert would be a tough game, but I knew they would be down. They lost a lot of seniors. That's no disrespect to them. They're still a great program, but I knew that we might have the advantage on them experience-wise. Then the rest of the schedule, I knew we had an opportunity to win. But to win in the fashion we have in the big games and to win in overtime, to see some of the position moves that we have made that have panned out. If you look at Ethan Lawrence, he was a receiver. I seen him run the ball one time on scout team, and I said, hey, guys, we got that guy at the wrong position. We really don't have a quarterback who can sling it around the yard, to say, but he can still throw when needed. But I said, I want Ethan Lawrence touching the ball 12 times a game.
Yes.
And that paid off. Jason Smith as well. He didn't play running back. So I didn't know how that was going to work out. It's so many different positions that I didn't know was going to work out, and to be able to do it and for it to work, it's a surreal feeling. But to say I was going to think we were going to be on an 8-game winning streak to be district champs, I didn't think it would be this soon. But I knew we would be in contention for it, and it's like it's a new memory every day as a head coach. It's so exciting You know, I love this. You know, when people say they get burned out,
No.
and people say, man, you know, I just, you know, I want to have my free time, this and that. I don't understand. I could do this forever. I could do this forever. If this is how it's going to be for the rest of my career, I'm going to be happy. And I'm just excited because it's my first year. We're winning. And the scary thing is we're only going to get better as I continue to implement my program. I can continue to give my attitude and character traits to the kids, to show them that I love them. And we have great young talent coming up.
You do.
Our 8th grade talent is unbelievable. Our freshman talent is unbelievable. And then we have some young players coming back. Kaniju, Jaden, Sweet. I can name so many players we have coming back. So I think it's only going to get better. So I'm excited that my first year was this successful because I think it's going to help me be able to handle success in the future because I think we're going to have a lot more success. So this year is teaching me how to handle it and be able to still stay humble and be able to still get the kids in a position to be successful from week in and week out.
I think you've done a great job. Like I said, your first year, you know, you, like I said, having this kind of record, man, most coaches first year to go 2-8.
Yes, sir.
You know, they don't make it to the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
You win district your first year.
Yes, sir.
Got a chance to go play for a gold ball. You take care of business.
Yes, sir.
You know, the next few weeks, you know, and you know, Lawton this Thursday night, then Sand Springs, and then, you know, whoever you have between Deer Creek or Choctaw.
Yeah.
So you've done a great job. And like I said, a lot of that comes from you being a defensive coordinator, though. You seeing the whole field. And then, you know, it's funny because you talked about the first game, you know, being nervous, you know, being uptight.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think you had to put your staff together.
Yeah.
Some of these guys wasn't here last year.
No, they weren't, sir.
So you had to start putting your trust in them.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing about anybody's job. As I tell people, my job, you still got to have, people might do it, but you still got to trust them to do their job, though. Because there's a reflection on you if they're not doing it right.
Yes,
they're going to
sir.
come back on you. They're not going to say nothing to them. They're going to say something to you. So,
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think you're doing a great job. And you're going to hear me keep saying it until the season's over.
Yes,
You got to go out and vote for this young man, what he's done with the team, you know, from last year to this year, you know, winning district championship, got a chance to make it to the state, just, you know, got a good chance to make it to the state.
Absolutely.
And you know, why not be coach of the year?
Yeah, and you know, to speak on the coach of the year, anytime, and I seen this in college, and now I know from my experience as the head coach, if we just see Coach Williams walking in the door.
Coach Williams, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We're going to get him on the show.
Yes, sir, we're going to get him eventually. And you know, they always say it takes a village.
Yes, sir.
When I heard Coach Williams, Nino Williams, I knew in my heart that we had the same passion. Our personalities are different. We do have, everybody's going to have different personality traits. But I knew in my heart, if we can get me and him tag teaming in any program, we're going to win. So I knew that was a great hire. Me and him have stayed connected for 4 years. We always text. He always encouraged me. Even when we were 0-5, he was sending me things that would encourage me and keep me uplifted and keep me going through that season. We didn't know if we were going to coach together. We talked about it at times. So to see it come together, and we were speaking about it, he has helped me be coach of the year if I do get it. You know, I'll be humble and accepting of that. But it wasn't just me. Coach Williams did a great job with the defense. He carried on the tradition of Code Red. He built the relationships with kids. He elevated them and told them that they're kings. He gave them confidence in themselves.
Yes.
Then also Coach Madonna. Coach Madonna overcoming the critics.
Yes.
Overcoming what everybody was saying, this and that. You know what I'm saying? He is averaging, whatever people want to say about our offense, hey, you might need to throw it more. You might need to do this. The man is averaging 34 points a game.
Yeah.
That's all I need to say.
That's all you need with that defense, sir. That's all you
If
need.
we're averaging 34 points a game, we're going to be in an opportunity to win because I promise you, ain't nobody going to sit there and score 30 points on us easy like that. So I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for Coach Williams. I'm thankful for Coach Madonna. If I win Coach of the Year, they need to have half of it because if without them, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yes, sir. Coach, is funny. Coach Williams is like that actor that show, God, leaves on the top of my head.
Which one?
Golly, man, it's gonna eat me up now. He used to come on Wednesday nights. It was golly.
I can't remember.
Man, I know. But I'm gonna get him, and I'm gonna say it next week though. But if we got him on the show, he's probably gonna make our ratings go up because you know he looks like that actor though. I cannot think of his name, man. It's a TV show, man.
I think I know who you're talking about. The guy with the pretty eyes, little light skin guy. I can't
he used to come on Wednesday nights, man. I know we get off subject, but what is it, man? It's something that was about singing the Empire.
Oh yeah.
What's the guy's name? The star of the Empire. What was
I
his?
can't remember his name. I know you're talking about the
light skin. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Sir.
That's what he looks like, though,
sir.
man. So I was like, if we bring him on here,
We're gonna get
we
some.
might have about 400 views that day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he does a great job. I'm actually about to buy a puppy from him, a boxer. It's gonna hopefully be an all white one with a black eye. You know, he does a great job with his business. You know, he does a great job. He's teaching his daughters. He has 3 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. He's teaching them how to run businesses, and because they're running their own business.
That's it.
And he's teaching our young man that football is not going to be everything. You have to learn how to have your own avenues, your own businesses to be successful, and for me to be able to see an African man run his own business and the way he carries himself, and for him to sit out last year because of COVID shows me that football and everything, life is bigger than football. And I think that feeling over our program has made us even better because we know that life is bigger than football. Every kid in our program knows that, and that's what he preaches. So I'm thankful for that. And I think back on all my memories as a coach. It's crazy how things tie together. Like my first year, all the kids I picked up, all the parents I've talked to, all the things I picked up from coaches. And then when you see it come together, your first year and it meshed together, it's awesome. You know, in the spring, it was a hiring freeze. So I didn't even know if I was going to be able to bring in a coordinator. I didn't know if I was going to be able to bring in coaches. I was nervous about that. And I still had to carry on the responsibilities of being the head strength coach and track coach until Coach Williams got here. So to be able to see all those memories and those experiences from my past coaching experiences come together, and then to be able to put the staff together, it's just been amazing. And I'm excited to see us continue to grow because this is just the beginning. We'll continue to show that as a staff, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to learn how each other's personalities. We're going to continue to learn how to coexist with each other. When you get defenses and offenses that know how to coexist together, it's happening this year with the way we're running the ball, the way we're playing defense. I'm telling people, sky's the limit. Yeah, it's going to continue to get better. So this product is going to continue to elevate itself, not only on the football field, but character-wise. We're going to send young men to college. We're going to get young men to get their degrees. We're going to show them how to have great character, not only over here, but in the building. Every year here, I was getting email after email about behavior. I still get them.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got one about a starter last week, Aaron Carter. Yesterday about Aaron Carter, you know, about him. And I spoke with him and I taught him, I set him down. I wasn't upset when I just said, hey, man, you can't act that way. You can't continue to be late for class day in and day out. If you get a job, you may have 2 times that you're going to be late, and you're going to be looking for a job, and how you going to feed your family. So I'm excited about the football part of things, but I'm excited to show these young African-American men. Also, we have white kids, Mexican kids. We have so many kids on the football program, but everybody knows Del City is predominantly African-American, and the stereotypes that come with this school and come with this city, to be able to show these young men that you can overcome it by the season we had, that's going to pay off later in life. I'll never forget, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday when Barack Obama won the presidency. I'll never forget. I was just walking. It was my first year of teaching, and I was just walking, and I was like, man, maybe one day I can be a head coach.
Yes, sir.
Because I was discouraged. I was like, man, it's going to be so hard for me to get a head coaching job. Because back in 2010, African American wasn't getting those opportunities like that.
No.
You know, they weren't getting those opportunities. So I remember when Barack won that presidency, I was like, man, I could do anything in life. I could do anything in life, because if he was able to be the president, even though he had to overcome some adversity, people were fighting against him when he won it. For him to be able to win it and then win it again, it gave me the confidence to elevate myself as a coach and as a mentor. And now I'm able to show these kids that, hey, you could be an athletic director one day. You could even be the president. You could do anything you want.
Anything you want.
Your skin color is not going to stop the way America's working right now. I know it's a lot of tension racially, but your skin color cannot stop you from being successful. The things that can stop you from being successful is your character.
Yes, sir.
If you have bad character, if you hang around the wrong people, if you're lazy, those are the things that are going to stop you. Your skin color is not going to be an issue no more. We're overcoming that. We're overcoming the stereotypes in Del City. I'm excited for that because this community deserves it. The parents who raise their kids on a daily basis deserve it, and the teachers and staff who give all they can for these kids deserve it. So I'm excited to see us continue to grow character-wise as a program as well.
Well, Coach, it's good you say those things because, before we end the show, it's funny because people always ask me, what's the connection I have with Del City?
Yeah.
I was a bomber, kids went to Choctaw.
Yes, sir.
But it's just funny, though, because, Coach, the things you're saying is great because there is life after football.
Yes, sir.
And I remember when I was at Miller City, back then that team was good.
Yeah.
I was on that team with Gundy and Drew. My junior year, we ranked number 2 in the nation. We get beat by Booker T.
Yes, sir.
And some of these guys got to realize, too, is like we was kind of telling Hampton, tomorrow might not be promised.
Yeah.
You might say, I got next year, but you only guarantee 30 games in high school.
Yes, sir.
So and like COVID hit, you didn't get 30 games in high school.
No.
You might only got 25.
Yeah.
But I just tell you though, like you said, there's these young men got to realize, because when I got done playing college ball, and
Yeah.
you know me, and you've joked and talked about it, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was custodian at Delcrest.
Yeah.
For 2.5 years.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's me cleaning up toilets and sweeping up, but that doesn't make me a bad man.
No, it made you.
It made
who
me
you
a
are
stronger
today.
man.
Yes, it made you who
because
you are today.
I was never out there selling dope. I was never out there
Yes, sir.
gang banging, because my mom always kept her finger on me,
Yes.
and that's what you're teaching these young men
Yes, sir.
here, is that, hey, there is life after football. Go get that education. My son's kind of going through it right now in wrestling.
Yes, sir.
He started as a true freshman. They're talking about redshirting this year. We've been talking about it, but sometimes I said, God has a plan.
Yes.
God had a plan for you to put you here.
Yeah.
Put Coach Williams with you.
Yes, sir.
And look what you guys done. He was over there last year with Westmore.
Yeah.
Now he's over here, and you guys over here celebrating like Lionel Richie.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
I mean, and that's the thing about it though. That's why we started this show, because when this show was supposed to start, it's supposed to be in all 3 high schools.
Yeah.
And it's come to the Coach Jones show.
Yes, sir.
And I'm tickled to death to do it every Tuesday morning, because
Yes, sir.
we're talking keeping it 100.
Yeah.
But we're talking about life, because everybody know. People want to hear the good,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure to tell you the bad of, hey,
sir.
I was a custodian. You
Yeah.
went to junior college.
Yeah.
You went D1.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't know that.
Yeah.
But hey, we're keeping it real, and we're keeping it real with these young men. Like you said, giving them the opportunity to speak, to learn how to talk in front of a camera,
Yes.
learn how to talk when an interview, because at the end of the day, people always want, I tell people all the time, negative news sell.
Yes.
If somebody say Robert had a fender bender, that's going to be all over 4, 5, and 9.
Yeah.
But Robert won district championship. You might not hear it. You might have that in a little
Absolutely.
column. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I appreciate everything that you're doing with these young men. And that's my ties to Dell City. Coach Don, Mr. Don, when he was over at Delcrest, I worked for him. He gave me a lot of opportunities. I coached basketball over there.
That's
so
great.
I tell you, I've come a long way from doing
Yeah.
that. But you know what? It made me better to better my kids and my family. So, but I have no shame in that game, because
Well,
I got knocked a couple weeks ago for stocking shelves. But guess what? The shelves has done a good job for me.
And you were able to have a great family. You're able to provide for them financially and psychologically. And, we have a saying, and Coach Williams says it all the time. It's already written. It's already written. So if God already has your plan written, all you need to do is stay positive and have great character
That's
and
it.
treat people right. And I remember we were in a PC North game, and my stomach was just turning so bad. I was so nervous. The win streak was at stake. The district record was at stake. And I was just looking at Coach Williams. He was just so relaxed. And I was like, man, are you not nervous? He was like, no, man, I say this prayer before every game.
Yes, sir.
I say, God, please lead me. Please show me that you have already provided the way. And it might not be word to word like that, but he was saying that he just prays that prayer to, he's going to trust whatever outcome it is, because it's already written. And that's true. When you go through life and you have experiences and you go through adversity of junior college, right now I'm fostering my niece and nephew, being the first African-American AD at Dell City, all
sir.
those things were already written. So now I accept that, and I accept my role as a mentor and as a leader for this program and for this school. And I'm just going to trust God. I'm going to trust people that I have underneath me, Coach Williams, Coach Madonna, all the rest of my assistant coaches, I'm going to trust them, and I'm going to delegate stuff to them and trust what we're going to do with this program, and trust
sir.
that we're going to lead it in the right way, not only on the field, but character-wise as well.
Like I said, that's keeping it 100.
Yes, sir.
But he was brought to you for a reason. And it's funny you say that, because if you was nervous at PC North game,
Yeah.
the following week, who did you play? Deer Creek.
Deer Creek.
You wasn't nervous.
I
I
was
watched
confident.
you. I
I was
watched
confident.
Coach Williams. He's going down. I remember one time Stone kind of went step by step. Coach Williams goes over and says, "Come on, man, we still got this."
Yes, sir.
And guess what? At the end of the night,
Yeah.
he was victorious. Won district champion.
Yes, sir.
But Coach, I know we preaching today on this Tuesday morning, but ain't nothing wrong with that, because that's why we keep it at 100.
Yes, sir.
Because I try to put myself different from any other sportcast, because it's all about life. We're having fun here.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is what it's all about. So. Let's talk about the players of the week, though.
Okay. Starting off offensively, this could have went to a lot of different young men, because we played a lot of people. We were thankful and blessed to be in a position to be in that type of game where you could play a lot of people. But I'm going to give it up to the freshman.
Give it to him.
DeMarion Turner. To have 112 yards, How many touchdowns he have?
Yeah, two touchdowns.
He have 112 yards as a freshman. He's a quarterback, but we put him at running back, and for him to be able to get those yards and be able to be tough and run against a varsity team, that's awesome for that young man. So DeMarn Turner wins Offensive Player of the Week. Defensively, man, it could go to a lot of people. A lot of people play great every week. I go back and forth on the defensive player every week just because there's so many people and having so many tackles. But I'm gonna give it to the young man who was sitting next to me. He's won it before, but anytime you have 3 sacks when people know who you are because you continue to have sack in and sack out. 14 and a half sacks, you know, and the OU defensive line coach was on the sideline, and obviously he was looking at David Stone and Jaden Foreman.
Yes, sir.
But Darius Hampton's name got brought up to him. By the way he plays, he said, man, that Darius Hampton kid gets after it.
He does.
So we're going to give it up to Darius Hampton for Defensive Player of the Week. He deserves it. Special Teams Player of the Week is a name that's familiar as well. He's came over here from a different school, Westmore, and he's had continued to show us that he could play running back. He could play safety. He has great games of safety. He comes up and tackles. He covers well. I'm gonna give it up to Ethan Lawrence he had a big kickoff return at the beginning of the game. He got us going, got some energy sparked up, and he had a punt return as well. So Ethan Lawrence has our Special Team Player of the Week, and all those guys deserve it, and all those guys are doing great things for us this year. I'm excited to see him continue to grow.
Well, Coach, like I said, playoff starts next week.
Yes,
it seems like the matches is going to be Del City versus Sand Springs, Bisbee versus PC North, or Lawton.
Yeah.
Lawton probably going to get in because you're going to take care of business Thursday night.
Sir.
Hey, guys, Lawton, great season. Enjoy your band. That's me keeping it 100. Tata versus Deer Creek should be a good one. Then Stillwater versus Booker T.
Yeah.
All those teams in this tournament, this bracket, you got anybody can go win it.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, you got to, cut off turnovers,
Yes, sir.
penalties and things like that. It's going to, help you get to the next round. But, next Tuesday we'll be talking about, you and Sand Springs.
Yes, sir.
And then the next week after that we'll be talking about you and Deer Creek or Tata.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Coach, I said 1,000 times. I'm excited with what you have done with this program.
Thank you.
What you're going to do with this program. Winning that game last night with your JV guys and like I said, your middle school winning conference. That just tells you right now it's going to be hard for anybody to come steal anything from you, because when you got your coaches in place and your players in place, and then these kids are involved in coming, and you're going to their middle school games, it makes it very important. Because why would I want to leave? Because it's easy before when you can go over there and sell some gloves or a helmet and T-shirts and all that stuff. But what you're doing over here, why would I want to leave? Because you still got OU coming to the sideline.
Yeah.
You still got Oklahoma State calling.
Yes, sir.
You still got Kansas. So a lot of your guys next year, you'll have 4 or 5 kids go D1.
Yeah.
And then, you talk about the freshman guy that's supposed to be a QB that Grand Tailback had, I'm telling you, that opens up some eyes. Granted, it's yours, granted not, but it's still, he wasn't a varsity game and done those things. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, everything that you've done
Yes, sir.
this year, with the show, coming on the show, us doing the show. Some people didn't want to do it, but you stuck with me and we're doing it and we're having fun. So I tell you, another great week of Keep It 100, Coach
Yes, sir.
Jones.
Let's
So
keep this thing going.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
want to
sir.
go for a whole another month and have some great shows, and I'm excited about it.
Hey, we're gonna be these boys working out, man. We're gonna
Yes,
be
sir.
filming and showing these up and coming, because, like I said, you got so many guys up and coming.
Yes, sir.
That the more that this gets out, the more people know about Del City
Yes, sir.
high school football, the better it's gonna be. I mean, the basketball team, the
Yeah.
track team. Hey, it don't just stop here. It keeps rolling, baby. The train is
rolling all
going. So you've done a great job with your coaches. Lenny. We'll be doing a coach's show with Lenny. Hatchet, the basketball show. So I'm telling you, we'll follow some track, and so it ain't stopping just here.
sir.
We'll keep it going. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here, Coach?
Like always, anytime you win a district championship, it's not just one person. I want to thank the coaching staff, starting with Coach Williams and Coach Madonna, and the great job they've done all year with their schemes and being able to implement them and get the kids going. And I want to thank all my assistant coaches,
Sure.
the time they spend away from their families and friends. I'm very thankful for that, and for them believing me as a leader. I'm very thankful for that as well. And I want to thank the principals, Miss Hill, Mr. Crawford, Mr. B, Miss Stansberry. The stuff that they help me with on a daily basis goes unnoticed, and that's the things behind the scenes that help us be successful. Then I want to thank the teaching staff of Del City. The teaching staff of Del City Middle School. you guys have been part of mentoring these young men and leading them in the right direction and showing them that education is first and showing them that your character and the way you treat people and the way you behave in class is just as important as you performing on the field. So I'm thankful for them. And I want to thank the family, the parents.
Yes, sir.
To be able to help me mold these young men and to be able to believe in me as a parent, to be able to lead your young man is very, very humbling, and I really respect their opinion of me. So I'm thankful for that. Then I want to thank the community. The community has believed in me from day one. They bought into me. They spoke up when this job opened up. So I'm thankful for them and them picking me and speaking out for me. Got me this job, so I'm thankful for that, and I'm gonna continue to show them that they will be rewarded for their belief in me. So, and I'm thankful for Andy Collier and Dr. Cobb believing in me as well, and the board members. So, that district championship was for them, for everybody I just mentioned, and I'm happy to go into the playoffs this week because I said law is a playoff game. I'm happy to show them that it doesn't just stop there with the district championship. We're gonna try to bring the gold ball home. I'm excited to lead these young men to do it.
Well, Coach, that's great stuff. Before I let it go, it's pretty cool. You win the district championship. Kyle Ray really fell off. Coach John joins them. They win the district championship. So it just tells you right now, both guys, have done a great job in their first year. Yours is probably a little tougher.
Yeah.
You had to put a staff together. Coach Don, you already kind of had your staff, with all those other guys. But I just tell you, man, you both have done a great job. Middle City to get back to where it used to be. So it's going to be really cool when you get all three schools rocking and rolling. But, I just, like I said, Coach, I really am proud of you and what you've done this year in your first year of coach, man. Just keep it rocking. Well, folks, thank you for watching, listening to another great episode of Keeping It 100, Coach Jones Show. Like I said, you're going to keep hearing me say, go vote for this young man. I'm telling you, he's the coach of the year, man. Look what he's done. Lost one game. I tell you right now, if we can rewind that game and play Booker T, he'll be sitting here undefeated, going and playing Bigsby for the state championship. Both teams undefeated. So we'll catch you next week, and we'll recap the Lawton game. Roll to the gold ball. Thank you.